The agent that the CIA had working for them inside OKB-0 has gone missing. We've been given the job of finding and extracting him. The target learned of XOF's plans to use vocal cord parasites and had hidden himself with the CIA's Mujahideen allies. But following Skullface's death, the Soviets retook OKB-0 and all contact with the target was lost. He may have tried to go back to OKB-0, but even Langley isn't sure what's going on. After all, they've never even learned of Skullface's plan. That's probably what they want to get out of the man once he's extracted. But we can't allow Langley to learn of the existence of the vocal cord parasites. That's why I want you to bring the target out, boss. Once we have him, we can report him dead and keep him on base. All contact with Langley is being conducted through a cutout. Our reputation should remain intact. As for the reward, it's already in the hands of the cutout. All you have to do is get the job done. Just like always. Extract the missing CIA agent. The target was laying low with the friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The man headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
take a look at what she's uncovered this time before moving on. So it's more of a farm than a town. There's a prisoner. I want to interrogate a couple of them if I can. So no shooting them unless absolutely necessary. Since the last time I've been here, the radios or the satellites have been repaired. Looks like helmet and chest body armor, but nothing more.
Talk. Where are your friends?
Okay. Stuff I had already known.
He's coming too.
Moving
Roger that.
to the building ahead of me. There's a soldier there. Shield, which means submachine gun. Which might have gotten just a lot easier. Okay, I just need to move in behind him. It's not a bad thing to let them partially see you. It can often make them do foolish things. When they investigate, that is. But this alters if they ever go onto, if the base ever goes onto alert. Their pattern changes. There's a decoy over there. And those things are just temptation to get somebody to shoot. To be calm. I'll use this as cover. Actually, I do want to get more practice with the handed Jehudi. I need to refine how I use it.
Spit it out. Where are your friends?
That part has moved. So I've got
He's coming too.
one
Roger that.
unknown at the moment, near where that possible unknown. There was a doll over there, and it could be that doll.
Spit it out. Where are the others?
Head back towards the road. And I'll grab that one. Haven't heard a truck yet. So that means
Subject
there's
on
been
board.
some
Leave the rest
alteration
to us.
between how this base is with basic map features and this map feature. There should have been a truck that visited by now. And basic map features, basic, I guess you could say, on sandbox, just wandering around the place doing side ops. Okay, what's this guy's configuration? Don't see a backpack on him. He wasn't gone for too long, so I don't think he's he's not a long-range patroller. Long-range patrollers tend to have larger backpacks with radios to keep in contact.
Heads up. Talk. Where are your friends?
I imagine. Okay. One of them's jogging. Change of guard, maybe?
You gotta extract him.
Heading back towards the base. Alright. Got one on the road to my right. One inside the base. This one won't be a problem. Interesting configuration. This one does have a pack, which it means there's At least another patroller on foot somewhere. So this guy's planning to operate long range.
Talk. Where are the others?
Okay, he's down. Okay, more armored. Looks like a faceplate at that. Chest armor. More armor on his wrist, it looks like. Gauntlets. Probably on his shins as well. Moving on to one on the road, I need to take a look at his armor. I'm probably going to see that inside the base itself. Okay. Nothing on the shins. So he's protected against chest hits, head hits, but not leg. The thing about that armor is it's pretty dangerous. It impedes his vision and it impedes his hearing.
Don't move. Speak. Where are your friends?
Take a look at this now. Oh, this is about the most idiotic helmet I've ever seen. A helmet that does absolutely nothing. I'll leave those two at the bridge for later. They're not going to be a problem. Moving on the tower now. Helmets. Not much other information. They're reconfigured on the other side. Probably around sandbags. There and there.
Where are the others?
Okay, sandbag there. There and there. Okay. Forgot how far the sandbag was by the tower. Caught one's attention. How I did that in the middle of the sandstorm, I don't know. Probably the noise. Yeah, that's a reflex. That noise will bring those other two.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, and move now.
Speak. Where are your friends?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Alright. Nothing upstairs.
You gotta extract him.
Помоги мне! Что?
That takes care of the prisoner.
Okay, subject is in.
Okay, see another one. This must be the other long-range patroller. Those ones with the specific backpacks tend to come in twos. And this will bring them right to me.
Talk. Where are the others?
Okay, that should take care of at least one of the patrols then.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, moving on to 2 by the bridge now. I said these 2 weren't going to be a problem earlier because they generally remain where they are. That is until you have a change of guard, or the guard changes, usually during morning or midnight, around that time. which means there's one anomaly here. Only one of them had that interesting helmet design. Shoot. And now they're on alert too. It's easy for that to happen. Okay, not on alert. Okay, that's good. And I'm looking at the status by the color of the number and the name of the place. I'm gonna head to 22 and on my way. That'll take me towards where I need to go. Surprised that prisoner didn't trigger something more. Oh, there's the prisoner right there. Maybe it's not going to do too many things now. No, we should have done that earlier. Okay. Four of them. None of them armed from what I can see. Armored, that is. And looks like rifles. Rifle. Maybe a... Hold on. That might be a light machine gun or... Maybe not. So, 2, 4, 5. 5 of them. No, it's a rifle. 5 of them, all from the looks of it, armed with rifles. None of them armored.
Spit it out. Where are your friends?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
It's one of the first items you get, and it is so useful in stealth work, and that is the magazine.
Speak. Where are your friends?
So I'm not getting any useful information.
He's coming too. Roger that.
One in the tower's facing away. I may need to take him out first, depending. Since he's basically looking over these two over there.
Speak. Where are your friends?
Okay, you're facing in this direction. Bad idea to actually extract him just yet. May need to wait. Objective doesn't seem to have moved. Sounds like he's smoking. Shouldn't be too much longer now. Yeah, just put out a cigarette. And now he's moving. I'll grab the smoker first, and then the
Subject on
one
board.
by the road.
Leave the rest to us.
Hands up. Speak. Where are your friends? Hands up. Speak. Where are the others?
get the type of information I was expecting. And no
You
intel.
gotta extract him.
Okay, not complete. Surprising. Objective hasn't moved from the looks of it, so I'm heading towards there now. Oh. Looks like he's on the road. Okay, before I go, I'm gonna check my combat deployment. You give me a break, and let me think about the situation. Okay. So no intel. Prisoner didn't exactly have much to say, and this objective hasn't moved. Middle of the desert at that. I get the feeling I may end up seeing a body. Or at least remnants of an ambush. Okay. There's a...
The target's probably already outside the original predicted FOM. You'll have to look for him yourself. Try interrogating some of the soldiers. They may know something.
Okay. If he was going somewhere, then the palace would be the place to go. Wolf, or some other type of animal. Probably a wolf. Listen, quiet ahead. No more sandstorms for you. Okay. Another one. There. Alright, just dropped off a few items. It's quite a few soldiers. More than usual. Mostly concentrated on the... There's a bunch of buildings right over here. And it looks like they're concentrated in that area. Or temporary buildings, I should say. It's more like sheds. 2 prisoners from the looks of it. We need to keep an ear out to see if they're being interrogated or not. Okay, vehicle. Unknown type at this moment. Tank. Got a tank. We've got a walker too. Unless that's a walker on the other side of that burned out tank. Which seems to be the case. So not a tank, 2 walkers. Interesting. Walkers focused on the road itself. Doesn't look like any of the soldiers are in with the prisoners, just guarding them. That might have just, no. It looks like a couple of them are going to sleep now. It should be close to midnight. Okay. So I'm looking at here. They're facing towards the road. I'm gonna head towards the palace on the left side. See what I can do. No, this one's moved. Looks like part of his patrol is to look down this road. I should have enough, but I'm gonna save some of those supplies for later. One on the spotlight's not a problem. Practically projects where he's looking. As soon as the soldier can only look where the spotlight is. Moving up on the one by the fortress. Hold on.
Hear that, boss? Quarantining the target is convenient for us, but if worst comes to worst, they might kill him. You better hurry.
Yeah.
Hands up.
I can take out the other
Got an
ones later.
emergency report from the intel team. Someone has taken over the observation post north of Lamar Khatay Palace. And a vehicle has just left the post, headed for the palace. Watch yourself. This could be connected to the target.
Interrogator is what I'm thinking. So I need to get to those prisoners.
Leave the rest to us.
They're already here. Shoot. And somewhat in position.
Spit it out. Where are the others?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Okay, this is... might be a problem. The walker's over here. How am I going to get in? Now I'll get two of them. Need to be careful. But I'm close enough to actually do something in case anything goes wrong. What the? Shit.
The target's dead. Mission failed.
I wasn't quite expecting that. I didn't even hear him interrogating or just walk up and shot him.
Boss, the target has already reached the objective area. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Well, that complicates things. Okay, same thing as before. I'm going to head towards this side. Got two opponents to take out. Didn't quite expect to have that action being taken. That's what happens when you don't know the situation. Know your enemy, know yourself, and you not worry. Shoot, come on, climb up. About the situation, about the outcome. Okay. So now I know more about the situation. I know they're not going to hesitate to kill him.
Hear that, boss? Quarantining the target is convenient for us. But if worst comes to worst, they might kill him. You better hurry.
The difference between might and will kill him.
Boss, got an emergency report from the intel team. Someone has taken over the observation post north of Lamar Khatay Palace. And a vehicle has just left the post, headed for the palace. Watch yourself. This could be deserted.
Shoot. Darn it, I had that and he wouldn't switch to his gun in time.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
That should have hit me. Okay, that was... I thought I had my pistol up instead of that rifle. Okay. Rifle's only really good against...
Boss, the target has already reached the objective area.
There we go.
You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Against... if you're going to go full combat, you don't want to kill, or you want to go against animals. Since I don't have a silencer on it. I wonder if I can put a silencer on it. Anyway, that was a foolish mistake of mine.
Штаб, это КП. Объект прибыл во дворец. Жду указаний. Прием.
Quarantining the target is convenient for us, but if worst comes to worst, they might kill him. You better hurry. Boss, got an emergency report from the intel team. Someone has taken over the observation post north of Lamar Khatay Palace, and a vehicle has just left the post, headed for the palace. Watch yourself. This could be connected to the target.
It is. We've got moments to get to him.
That's the target. Looks like we found him.
Okay, go. Alright, now I need to hide.
Target extracted. Exfiltrate the hot zone, boss.
Это просто мое воображение. Ничего нет. Что?
Oh, this is gonna be painful. Oh, why? Darn it! when you throw a magazine, you're pretty much stuck in that animation throughout the entire reflex. Give her support. Unfortunately, I think I should have gone underneath the underside of his helmet. Walkers.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
What on earth is it doing? I get my aim jerked right away from me. More to take out. Two more. dying. Okay, one hit. I don't have a clear shot. And darn it, these people keep waking up.
He's coming to you. Roger that.
So effectively keeping me pinned down is those three walkers.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
This is not going to be a high score. What the? Shoot, they used that one as bait and hit me with missiles. Okay, I see what I need to do.
Boss, the target has already reached the objective area. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Same as before, let's jump out the window before they investigate the room, since they'll just start shooting now. And I don't know what problem I'm having switching weapons, but I seem to have a huge problem doing that. Okay, that one should be asleep fairly soon.
Quarantining the target is convenient for us, but if worst comes to worst, they might kill him. You better hurry.
It's a leg shot. Look. There we go. Someone's inside.
Boss, got an emergency report from the intel team.
Shoot.
Someone has taken over the observation post north of Lamar Kate Palace.
Can't
And a
hesitate
vehicle
too
has
much
just left the
longer.
post, headed for the palace.
Move.
Watch yourself. This could
Damn
be
it,
connected
move.
to the target.
Shoulder should do it. Well, that'll do it too. Okay, I've got a little time to get to
He's coming too. Roger that.
the building. And extract him, jump out the back. There's a car. Damn it. Don't have time for this.
Help me!
Good.
Nice work.
НКП, понял. Усилить безопасность. Повышенная боевая готовность. Конец связи.
key is that as long as they don't know I'm there,
You gotta extract him.
or where I am. Or they don't know where I am. Then I can take them out. And it's on what holds their attention more. Okay, I think I got these two. That'll bring their attention and bring more of them over.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, this should bring this one that's 20 meters away to me, in theory. Okay, I did. Alright, that's good, still.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Alright, now that should have decreased the population. This was the interrogator. Well, who I thought the interrogator was. Either the driver was doing both jobs.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, I'm heading in. One up the top and one at the top of the stairs. Need to wait one moment. There we go. Free to move. Heavy armored. Light machine gun. I gotta get rid of that one on the roof before I can extract either of them. Falling back. I had to shoot him in the face. Okay, now
He's coming too. Roger that.
I've got 3 walkers to deal with. Helmet. should work. And I think I can hit his leg. No. Arm. No. Should handle most of them. Thought. Okay, hit his leg for sure. This one, helmet, don't have a clear shot. This one, his back should do work. No, that walker stays still. Should. Okay, that should take care of him. It's going to take a moment or two for him to fall asleep, since I hit him in the shoulder. I'll take out this one by here. Didn't have a clear shot, so I'm gonna CQC him. Oh, lovely.
Where are your friends?
Okay, taken care of. Got one inside the building, and I still got to take care of that walker.
Subject on board.
I should have
Leave the
time
rest
to
to
take
us.
out the one inside the building, then take out the walker before any of them wake up.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Should be 2 hits. He should be asleep already. There we go.
You got to extract him.
Now this one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get him out of the walker without shooting him a couple times. But I should be able to intimidate him out. In theory.
Hands up.
Yeah, stay asleep.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
As soon as I remove these combatants, then I'll rescue the prisoner.
He's coming too.
Shoot.
Roger that.
Oh god. You're gonna start waking up soon. I wonder if they're taking something. They don't seem to be asleep as long. Okay, that takes care of the danger for the moment. Some of the most dangerous missions are the ones in which you end up being pressed for time. You don't have the luxury to be patient and scope out and plan everything you need to do.
Okay, subject is in.
One of them is probably extract a person before he gets here. Okay, now for experiments for this thing. I wanted to test it outside of a mission, but let's see if I can leave through this method still. And I can. That's good to know.
Mission complete, boss.
Battle gear has been completed. Let's take a look at that.
Emmerich's finished development on that battle gear of his. Get back to Mother Base.
He's hovering. A railgun?
Battle gear is an armored weapon developed to take on hostile bipedal weapon systems. But unlike the Soviet-funded Walker gear, the battle gear still hasn't been properly field tested. I'd like to assign a combat unit to take it on dispatch missions, so that we can evaluate its capabilities and reliability. Assuming you've got no objections, give the order to dispatch the unit from your iDroid.
Such not a bad idea. So not. Wait a minute here. He's making new legs for himself. I just don't trust the guy.
We need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all. Joint development. That'll be useful. Anti-ballistic missiles will be useful as well.
extractions. Prisoner extraction in 0. OKB 0. Elimination of wandering puppets. Sanity is gone for good. Those ghosts, the mist that the ghost release must do a lot more damage than I thought they did. Okay. Ugh. I need to take a look at this.
Roger.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by. Gaining altitude.
Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all.
There is one thing I want to do before that, and that is to take a look at those puppets. And I'll just follow the road up to the base. Maybe I should do this last. Yeah, I'll do this one first. I'll do the prisoner one after this one, because I'm probably going to be returned to the base when I get the pod. So this may be a new element. That's why this one's a slightly higher priority. You need to observe how these people react after having been taken over by the mist and as he said, seemingly lost their minds. Called them puppets. Don't see anybody at the bridge. Or in this tower. Vehicle. Don't tell me I put that thing up too high. And I did. Wonderful. So I need to call for it again. That's a waste. We're calling on top of me. Okay, so no reaction from the people in the truck to the base. They seem to have a hard time walking. And they all seem confined within the base itself. What the? Guttural sounds. Unknown what tactics they'll use. I'll let this truck get by and I'll take it out, then I'll move in.
extract him.
They don't seem to have tactics in mind. None of them have taken up any useful positions. There are some dolls that were put up, but unknown if that's before or after. These people took over the base. The question is, how did they take over? Since the description makes it sound like they'd been in recovery somewhere, or the ghosts are still active after Skullface's death, and these are very recent infections. I'll enter the base from the back. Plus it gives me a chance to get this crate. He may not actually be in the base. Let's see. It could be along this way. No, they're in the base. They're inside this long corridor. Test 1. I need to see the reactions. The reaction to that, the take out one from an unknown. What the heck? They still had the infection. Visible infection of that. Those are parasites. Didn't look up. Test 1, tranquilizer. Tranquilizer works. The other hit was in his shoulder. Test 2. Does the noise bring them? They react to noise. Let's see what they do.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
They just get alerted. No movement towards the noise. Still no movement towards the noise. They don't have the investigation skills of soldiers. Moving up closer, going to use my lure. Attracted 2 of them. They still did not investigate. door's open. The reaction times are greatly slowed down. Still no movement towards me to find out what's going on.
He's coming too. Roger that.
There's more puppets around.
You gonna extract him?
Okay. I thought these might be a major danger,
He's
but
coming too. Roger that.
they don't seem to react too much. Is it because there's no ghost around to control them? I mean, they hear noise, but they don't move to investigate it. So how they move is different than how they move when ghosts are around. They seem more capable. Let's see if I can. Still need to find the others. I wonder if I can hold one of them up.
That's the target.
Okay, tests. And shooting in the leg. See how long that takes. Leg shots aren't going to work. Sniper rifle in the leg. Doesn't work. Headshot still works. Now to see the reaction to a fallen soldier. No reaction. CQC test. Sooner than I would like. CQC works. They recover very fast. I can hold on to them.
Talk. Where are your friends?
Something has happened. Either that one went down from a very long delayed response, or it's just coincidence he fell when I grabbed one. one
Subject
left.
on board. Leave the rest to us.
I'm gonna need to experiment on that next time I see him. Okay, so tranquilizers have an effect, but it's greatly slowed, or that thing went unconscious when I grabbed one. One of the two. Interrogation is pointless, but it can be done. The whole thing is just rather suspicious. Very nice skill set. Some of the others not so much, but
Roger that.
Two more.
Where are your Spit it out. Where are your friends?
You gonna extract him? Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Я не хочу умирать! Spit it out. Where are the others?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Curious. They've fallen back. I'll get his attention. Just stands
You
there
gotta extract
gawking.
him. He's coming too. Roger that.
Подожди, не стреляй!
One in the tower,
You gotta extract him.
and one down here.
He's coming too. Roger that. That's the target.
Since I'm over here, I'll just grab these soldiers. The soldiers that are by the buildings are bait. The bait for the sniper team up here. I'll send buddy support to 02. Odd. There he is. And this one is their guarding the backs.
Talk. Where are the others? Don't move. Hands up. Speak. Where are your friends?
Poor guys. Supposed to just be there to be knocked out. They're expecting somebody to take them out. And then whoever came would be
You gotta extract him.
vulnerable to the snipers up here. So
He's coming too. Roger that.
There's one in the building, but it's not going to be a problem. I'll just use this noise to get him to investigate.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Extract him.
One outpost between myself and the base now, and Quiet has gotten in that. Probably 3 again. Last 2 times I was at this base, or this outpost, there were just 3 soldiers there.
Take aim.
I think I'm not really using that command correctly.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Need to keep an ear out for
too.
the
Roger that.
Truck. And I'll listen to some tapes while should have been listening to this before. So
you mentioned that the man on fire was crushed under Sahelanthropus in its hangar.
Yeah. He was caught under the wheels of its transport platform.
But his body wasn't found.
What?
We searched the area the moment we arrived, but there was no trace of him.
I wasn't hallucinating.
I know. I trust you on that. That means someone must have taken the body. But when I got there, everything was still as it was. Even Skullface hadn't been touched. I can't see a reason to sneak into a place like that and drag out the biggest, heaviest guy there.
What are you getting at?
The only option left is he got up and walked away.
That platform ran him over.
Just ran him over.
You're saying that's not enough?
I don't want to believe it, but maybe not. He shrugs off bullets, even rocket strikes. There's no reason to think that would finish him. It seems ridiculous, but I'll start gathering eyewitness accounts just in case.
If
That
you
makes
dig up
sense.
anything concrete, I want to know.
You'll be the first, if I dig anything up. But I hope to hell I don't.
No kidding.
This is yellow cake that Cypher was having the PF's transport. Before we met you, the boss recovered it from a truck crossing the Savannah. Are there metallic archaea inside it?
Yes, the archaea metabolize uranium-235 to subsist. They must be stored inside yellow cake, or they cannot survive.
So those biological traces we took for impurities were actually the real cargo.
Of course, they are deactivated, so they do not trigger a sudden enrichment. They are like baker's yeast. Yet, they do gradually enrich the uranium as they feed. I imagine you detected weapons-grade traces.
Yeah, we did.
And the malachite that was loaded on the truck had traces of uranium in it, too. So that's the flower, huh? Skullface was gonna sell do-it-yourself nuke kits. The uranium-enriching archaea complete with a user's manual. And the ores with the uranium could be sourced by the client or provided by Cypher.
Even the trace amounts buried in
No
common
rules.
ores can be enriched to weapons-grade uranium by the metallic archaea. Proving that must have been the most important factor of the trials. That and the ability to successfully prevent detonation.
So if the amounts of uranium in the ores are low enough, they can get past any inspection. And you only need a tiny amount of the archaea to act as the yeast. No great challenge to smuggle that either. The first step towards saturating the world with nukes.
His plan. That was not my intention. My only goal in developing the metallic archaea was to save the Dene.
What made you think a tool for creating undetectable nuclear weapons would save your people?
After 70 years, the Dene reclaimed the Navajo nation from which we were banished. We bore all the hardships of poverty, but we were proud to live off the land we called our own. But in the moment the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, everything changed.
I don't get it.
The nuclear arms race between the U.S. and the Soviet Union began with the end of the Second World War. Suddenly, there was a massive demand for uranium. And it was our ill fortune that the ground beneath the Navajo Nation was rich with uranium ore. The Black Ana government set up mine
Shoot.
after mine.
I missed
And
that.
many of the Dene worked them, never informed of any danger. Every day, they went to work with no protection. The slag was simply piled out in the open. When rain fell, uranium traces left behind would seep out, and when the ground dried, it was blown about as dust. Land and water were contaminated.
So here and there.
Many of us became
Okay, just
sick
didn't know where to.
and died. That pain
This will get them moving and let me also.
I had no idea.
wanting more than anything to revive the land my forebears left to me. I was delighted upon discovering microbes that eat uranium. If they could be domesticated, I believed we could rid our land of uranium.
Were you successful?
No. The research called for funding on a colossal scale. But nobody was willing to invest.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
And that's when Skullface showed up.
Correct. I can save you and your people. We share the same will. That is what he said to me. And I believed him. Black to abandon my uranium cleanup work and focus on nuclear weapons. And he held all the Diné hostage. Today, the uranium mines within the reservation are finally closing down. It is simply less expensive now to source uranium overseas.
New victims, different places.
But uranium is a tactical resource. To rely on a foreign country for it is a difficult decision to make. And he was in the perfect place to influence that decision.
He could have condemned your people to the mines forever.
The contamination comes not only from uranium. The fallout from the Nevada nuclear tests also settled on our lands. As if our fortune were not already bad enough. We are also downwinders.
Okay.
To save the Diné, I must complete my original research.
Silencer's gone now. Or suppressor, I should call it. It's not really a silencer.
You gotta extract
Yeah,
him.
Hollywood movie sense. It just suppresses the noise. Still noisy.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
There we go.
You gotta extract him.
Go what ahead. Must have came out from the base.
He's coming too. Roger that.
The one that covers. The parasite that lives on the surface of the skull's bodies is what gives them their power. Similar to my children who live in my skin. I modified the parasites I isolated from the body of that old man, differentiating them
The
with
N
various
from
abilities.
Snake Eater.
One that can blend perfectly into its surroundings by exposing the pigments in its cells at will. Another that, by harboring multiple species of metallic archaea, can oxidize and reduce metal. Isolating the one that covers and transplanting it into an artificial medium should provide the same abilities as the skulls. But they can only subsist within a human body. Once transplanted into the medium, they will eventually die. Another thing, the weakness of the one that covers is desiccation. Their surface moisture loss is greater than ours. The reason they give off mist is to alleviate this by releasing the salts in the
You gotta extract him.
as microparticles. Water vapor condenses around them, appearing as mist. But this dries out the atmosphere until they cannot even produce mist. And once their supply of water from the host runs out, the parasites are in danger. They, along with their host, enter a form of suspended animation. However, a similar effect occurs if they come into contact with a large amount of water. Rain, for instance, The one that covers will temporarily abandon other processes in his eagerness to absorb the water. Petijolone. Make the weather your ally.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Hewitt's dug up some interesting facts about our skull-faced friend. 9 years ago, he was exiled to South Africa, stripped of political power. The upshot's that he ceased being a serious threat, in Cypher's eyes anyway. They eased up on surveillance, giving him an opening to establish his own military unit, one that answered to his will alone. Those men likely had no idea their orders were coming from Skullface. They probably didn't even know the organization was a part of Cypher at all. Anyway, it was in South Africa where he found renewed interest in parasites. And when he discovered the vocal cord parasites, he began to make his plan. Wipe the English language out of existence. Free the world, not by taking men's lives, but by taking their tongues. In his eyes, the greatest symbiotic parasite the world's ever known isn't microbial. It's linguistic. Words are what keeps civilization, our world, alive.
There was something Skullface said. America is made up of many peoples, but those peoples never mix. Quite so. One nation, home to hundreds of different ethnic groups, many of whom stick to their respective living areas, little colonies, not interacting with other groups, going out of their way to avoid one another, their land, organizations, relationships. Thus, the United States of America is no melting pot. It is more of a salad bowl. It is not made up from one people, but for its minorities to function in society, a common ground is needed.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Even if the country is not one. No, because it's not one. A lingua franca is necessary. English. American hegemonism was born from the illusion that English could unite diverse ethnicities. In taking in people from around the globe, America became a microcosm of it. Now the boundaries between it and the rest of the world have become blurred. However different our neighbors may be, English enables us to create symbiotic relationships with each other. If English can bring unacquainted neighbors together in America, this should hold true for the world. This salad bowl that is the world can also become one.
You gotta extract him. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I have spoken enough. Your men can take it from here. Will you permit me to rest? Have something to eat?
I thought you don't eat.
I can subsist without food. But there is more to the act of eating than nourishment. We receive nature's blessings, and we affirm our part in it. And in doing so, we express our gratitude.
You gotta extract him.
Sorry, it's hearing you say you don't need to eat and that you're a part of nature in the same breath. Anyway, What can we get you? Not exactly a 5-star restaurant, but...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers?
Even we didn't have become Americanized. I eat them often back home.
And you just can't let them go. Well, as far as symbols of the American Empire go, hamburgers are pretty good.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Your people suffered so much at the hands of America. And you asked for hamburgers.
We have suffered more than you can know. But I do not see hamburgers as an accomplice. A single dish, providing a balanced helping of nature's blessings. Meat, grain, and vegetable. How could anyone hate such a magnificent thing?
Says the guy who can survive on photosynthesis. Balance has nothing to do with it. You just like a good burger.
That is also true. Be warned, though. I have very high standards.
Don't worry. I do too. All right, then. One good old-fashioned all-American icon coming up.
I look forward to it.
One screaming in the codes. Check. I've been waiting, Snake, for a long time. Waiting for your birth, your growth, and the finality of today. I'm defecting to the Soviet Union.
Boss?
There is nothing left inside me now. Nothing at all. No hatred. Not even regret. And yet sometimes at night, I can still feel the pain creeping up inside me. I've been waiting, Snake, for a long time.
Well, that was unexpected.
AI pod launch confirmed. We'll pick it up. I wonder what kind of secrets are buried in it. I'll let you know if we learn something. Got a report from the intel team. Remember how the man on fire was crushed by Sahelanthropus? Well, the Soviets recovered his body. Could he really be dead? Boss, head for Yaha Ovu's supply outpost and secure the man on fire's body. If Skullface was right, and a thirst for revenge can turn a man into a demon and keep the dead alive, then this man on fire who's been coming after us ever since you woke up, well, that just might be what's left of our old friend Volgan.
Going to look into the other hangar as well.
There's something I've been wondering. Why are you called Code Talker? During World War II, the U.S. military used the languages of different tribes, including the Navajo, as codes, right? I know the term Code Talker was used to mean people sent to the battlefield to speak in those codes. Were you one of them?
Our mother tongue was indeed used for war. But I did not go. I was already over the conscription age. However, I was made to help craft the codes that were spoken. So in a wider sense, you could call me a code talker for that. Navajo is a complex language.
You gonna extract him?
The U.S. speaks it. They must have thought it was the perfect language to use as a code.
Yeah, in the end, the Japanese never cracked it. The cipher is king in information warfare.
Of course, they didn't simply speak in Navajo. They created substitutions for words according to a code book, and then translated those into our language. Young Diné was sent to the front lines of the Pacific Theater as code talkers. To fight is an honor for the Diné. They were the pride of our people. But I cannot say this history brings me joy. Words are alive. When they are spoken, life is breathed into them. They become a part of the listener. Our words were transformed into lifeless ciphers and used for war. This, after the Black Ana spent generations suppressing the language.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I guess we shouldn't be calling you code talker, huh?
No, I do not mind. The reason Skullface called me code talker was because I also am responsible for coding language into the vocal cord parasites. I am the same as those young warriors, used for a cipher's sake. I must never forget that. The name, Code Talker, is a lesson carved.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
You said Skullface ordered you to weaponize the vocal cord parasites. But you also said he wasn't the reason.
And he wasn't. I was seduced by the parasites. That is a fact.
How? You mean from your curiosity as a scientist?
That I cannot deny. But there is more to it. The story goes back to the 19th century, to my earliest memory. One day, a man from the government...
He's coming too. Roger that.
Our home. I cried as he yanked me from my mother's arms and took me away to an Indian boarding school. From that day forward, I became George. This was the name my teacher gave me. I was forced to give up my Diné name, forbidden from speaking anything but English. If we dared utter a word of filthy Navajo, the teacher made us eat a bar of soap.
Yeah, that was the U.S. government's education policy for Native Americans.
To erase our words was like erasing our people. Their education was tantamount to ethnic cleansing. Over time, the overt persecution of our language stopped. But to this day, it continues to be eaten away by the lingua franca, that is English. Many of them outside the reservations can speak nothing else. And it isn't just our language. Across the world, minority languages are being destroyed by dominant languages. Many are on the verge of extinction.
Enter the vocal cord parasites.
You gonna extract him?
I began thinking that minority languages needed some sort of deterrent against dominant languages. In order that their peoples and cultures would survive. It was then that I came across literature at the Foundation claiming that man acquired language thanks to a type of parasite, one that distinguishes between languages as a precursor to reproduction. If I could just resurrect it, make it more pathogenic, I would have my deterrent against English. But I failed to hide that aim from Skullface. He noticed. Yes, I wanted to retaliate against the English language, though never did I intend to actually use it as he'd planned. You know how the story ends. I was forced to study how to make the parasites compatible with all the world's languages. All but English.
However, he in fact secretly isolated an English strain.
I will not be held prisoner by the man's phantom. The English strain must not be allowed to exist either.
Okay, so this was originally where I found Ocelot. Not Ocelot, but a Huey. And first ran into Sahelanthropus. So there's probably at least one more AI out there. Assuming that wasn't the same AI as in there and just moved to a different hangar.
Hands up. Speak. Where are your friends?
I think the gas mask might have been a reflection of their fear of
He's coming too.
what the ghost soldiers
Roger
could
that.
do by taking over people's minds. It should keep them slow.
Talk. Where are the others?
So now back south.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, going to drop down the Jeep. It's definitely a fun game. But there's so much you could actually do with it if they ever release an editor. It wasn't that expensive when I got it. I think it was around $30. I got a pretty good deal at GameStop. I'm not sure I could sell my old games. I still have a lot of them. All the way back to the Intellivision. One of the most expensive games I've found, and I'm not selling it anytime soon, is Rule of Rose. Imagine having someone offer you $400 for that. That one I picked up when I was stationed in Okinawa. Okay, the only place that should be restocked is the supply base. I'll enter that place from behind. spotlights. One in the courtyard. Two in the courtyard. Equipped with gas mask. 4 in the courtyard. One walking the hallway on the left side. One on the outside. 2 of them asleep. Large focus of soldiers in the courtyard. I believe there's 2 more unknowns. They appear to be on the front gate too. I'll move up on the one by the spotlight. Shoot. Saw me. Should be okay. Only one of them is on the move. Looking in the wrong way. Got him. Leave him there for now. Okay, the other one was on the other spotlight. Spotlight's not as useful, so they've switched to sentry mode. Shoot. My eyes must be off by a little bit. 3 shots. Shouldn't have taken that many. Okay, moving up on the sentries up here. Okay, that's the one I didn't mark. Shoot. That one should come up here now. Shot him in the leg. Armpit. Leg. 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 Okay. The reason I'm shooting him in the leg is to delay them going unconscious so I can shoot all of them. Head would be interesting. So I've got 4 on the gate. They really were nervous about this guy. Interior is taken care of. Excuse me. And I'll just extract all these and think about
He's coming too. Roger that.
I think I could take out 4 of them if I shoot them each in the leg. Or at least 3 of them in the leg. That'll delay it long enough for me to take out the last of them. One unconscious in the back. Walking along the outer wall.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Been spotted. The 2 up there have woken up. Lost track of them.
Fire! You gotta extract him.
Okay, good. Front gate's taking notice of me. Hit 1 in the leg. Shoot the other in the face. Oh, shoot. Moving. The one that's 60 some meters away noticed that I removed one of the containers.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Suppressor's down. Got 2 of them moving towards me. Got submachine guns, not going to be a problem. It's just getting into position. Hit his shoulder. He'll be down. And the problem is that I was at this place earlier and I had already extracted the container over there.
He's coming too. Roger that.
So the things that they were seeing as missing had already removed.
You gotta extract him.
Okay, I see his body. Why did they leave it out here in the open?
He's coming too. Roger that.
That's weird.
Good. You captured it alive.
I barely recognize you, Colonel. Skullface used your thirst for revenge against Big Boss, did he?
Boss, I've updated the mission list. We've received some new job offers. The details are on your iDroid.
That's weird. If he wanted revenge, it was right there. Why did he just stop?
Volgan, the GRU colonel, was burned alive with a Shagohod during Operation Snake Eater 20 years ago. Despite suffering severe burns to his entire body, he still clung to life. After you left Seleniarsk, Volgan's body was taken to a research institute in the outskirts of Moscow, but modern medicine couldn't explain why he was still alive. Not that the colonel was any ordinary man to begin with. That constant electric current he had running through his body that he could unleash at will. To be honest, I was always uncomfortable around him. Thought I might get electrocuted just by standing nearby. The institute studying him was tasked with investigating and developing human paranormal abilities. The comatose Volgan was used to further the Soviet Union's research into such abilities. But not long ago, the facility burned to the ground. And Volgan's body was never found among the rubble, even though the fire started in the room where they were keeping him. This occurred at around the same time you woke up. If Skullface was right, and a thirst for revenge can turn a man into a demon and keep the dead alive, then this man on fire who's been coming after us ever since you woke up, well, that just might be what's left of our old friend Volgan. It's not over yet. Back in '64, in Seleniarsk, you brought his plans for a utopia down in flames. That grudge is what's keeping him alive. The day the research facility holding Volgan burned down, a Soviet jumbo passenger jet happened to crash nearby, far away to the north of that hospital in Cyprus. On board the plane was a young boy who was being studied at the same facility. The plane fell to earth from over 8,000 feet, but the boy's body was the only one not recovered. At almost exactly the same time as the crash, Volgan awoke in that facility. According to the Research Institute's documents, the gifts this boy demonstrated included psychokinesis and telepathy. To protect his mind from being inundated with other people's thoughts, he always wore a kind of gas mask. A rudimentary form of psychic insulation, apparently. We don't know where this boy is, but if Skullface is connected to him, we may cross paths with him yet. This boy is part of a new age where nothing we understand about the world makes sense anymore. Don't let your guard down. So what were they doing at Enzoya Badia, Baloo? That facility with all the people laid out in rows?
The abandoned factory Shivani was held in. It is precisely as you guessed. Black Anna was coding languages into the vocal cord parasites. They infected the subjects with the parasites. then made an incision in the throat to expose the vocal cords. That allowed them to play recordings of a desired language directly to the parasites.
And the parasites learn the languages that way. That's some teaching method. I just don't get how a bunch of bugs had the brain power for it.
They don't. Do not judge them by human standards. They do not learn as a function of intellect.
Then how do they do it?
What language the parasites react to is coded into their genes. You could expose the Japanese strain to English for years, and it would never learn the language and react to it. The pronunciation, rhythm, and structure are different. But what about, say, Spanish and Portuguese? Linguistically, the two are very close.
Yeah, they're both Ibero-Romance languages.
Even so, a Spanish language mating pair exposed to Portuguese will not copulate. Only when they hear Spanish. Only then. And the majority of their offspring will be the same.
So it's a literal case of a mother tongue. But if that's so, I don't see how the different strains can be created in the first place.
Well, among the many thousands of offspring, there may be just a few that react to Portuguese.
You're talking about mutations.
Correct. Playing the tapes helps to identify the mutant strains. Those specimens are then isolated and bred with one another. From their children, specimens that react more strongly to Portuguese can again be selected and bred. Repeating this process creates a strain that reacts solely to Portuguese and never to Spanish. Mutation and selection. No different to breeding roses.
So you kept increasing the change over the generations, adapting them to languages from all over the world. Must have taken a hell of a lot of patience.
More like patience. Just how many died for this?
There's something I still don't get. In order to tell which larvae will react to Portuguese, you'd have to let them develop and then see which copulate. That means you'd need tens of thousands of guinea pigs. There's no way you could do that in a facility that small.
For normal selective breeding methods, you would be right. But there is a more effective selection method when training the vocal cord parasites. Go on. It is not only when mating that the parasites listen for language. Shortly before hatching, larvae display markedly increased activity in reaction to particular language. The active eggs can be identified under a black light, so the eggs that react to Portuguese are selectively placed in the throats of subjects. So you see, narrowing down strains that react to the target language is an effective process. Though I'm sure that even so, many lost their lives to create the various strains.
Taken against their will into that dungeon.
There are two reasons for playing the tapes for the parasites. One, to isolate the eggs that respond to the target language. And two, to cause the specimens raised from the selected eggs to mate.
I get how the system works. But why do they respond to language before they even hatch? It's not like they can mate from inside an egg.
It is because the larvae learn the language before hatching.
You mentioned that what language the parasites respond to is hard-coded into their genes, and that they don't have the brain power to actually learn a language. But then you say that the larvae at Nzoia Badia Bulu were learning the languages in the egg. Your story doesn't add up.
Your country is home to a unique songbird. The Japanese bush warbler.
Sure, what of it?
What a beautiful call it has. But no bush warbler can sing it perfectly at the start. As chicks, they can barely chirp at all. They must learn from their parents and other adult birds. Only then can they sing properly and attract females. So naturally, there are individual differences in each bird's call. Though they start on the same footing, each bird is influenced by its teachers.
And the parasites are the same?
Like the birds, the parasites have a genetic predisposition towards a particular language. But while in the egg, the larvae's ears are tweaked by listening to the voice of the host. This tweaking ensures that the grown parasites will react better to the host's speech pattern.
Why would they have an ability like that?
Well, there are distinct regional differences within even the same language. Rare is the language that has no unique dialects. Yes, learning the host's speech pattern before hatching attunes the larvae to whatever twist of pronunciation it will encounter. This adaptive ability is what makes them so formidable.
I see. So a language requires selective breeding, but the parasites can learn dialects by themselves.
Of course, having the egg-stage larvae listen to the tapes in the factory was not meant to teach them. It was more important to use that trait of theirs to identify the mutated strains. As I mentioned earlier,
Is that really accurate enough to use as a weapon? You could wipe out a neighboring ethnic group by accident if their pronunciation is too close.
what you say is true. In that sense, they are imperfect as ethnic cleansers. But for his purposes, they are good enough. His objective was not to exterminate any
Roger.
ethnic group, but to render the world's lingua franca, English, inert.
I'm gonna listen to the last tape at on the main base.
Gaining altitude.
You ready to talk? Anything? Still living up to her name. How about you drop the act? Who infected you with a parasite? We can't let her talk. Put it back. All I want's a name. That won't trigger anything. Tell me.
So if it's English, does she know any other language?
Your lungs have been barbecued. There's traces of rubbing alcohol in your alveoli. This was found adhered to your lungs, intact. A petal. White Star of Bethlehem. The hospital. Skullface sent you to Cyprus to kill Snake. You were burned inside and out. That should have been the end of it. But, all things considered, you look pretty damn healthy to me. We have Skullface to thank for that, right?
I was the only one capable of applying them to parasite therapy. Until he stole them from me.
Why are you here? Did Skullface send you? Or did you have your own score to settle with the boss? Refreshing? Salt water.
No! She'll die.
His life isn't yours to take. Enough.
That's enough. If she wanted to kill the boss, he'd already be dead. Same goes for us. Just had plenty of chances. She can talk. She's not here to kill anyone. We're wasting your time. It doesn't matter why she's here. She works for you now. She's in love with the legend.
What makes you so sure?
I was the same way once.
What if she's a spy?
What if I'm a spy? For you? Go on all day.
Boss.
Let her go. She won't speak, so she can't spread the infection.
Napagitin Tish? Mish nagitin ti.
Oh.
Idiki plak anat e.
Oh. Ako kode dziś desni.
Tde bizad.
Belagana gesnita. Kato be yasteta. Aseitota. Dodo ni shita. Dodo ni shita.
early, huh, boss?
Boss.
Snake?
She's been acting differently lately. Before, she'd respond to conversation. Just as long as it didn't conflict with her timeline. But now, nothing gets a reaction from her.
What happened?
No idea. Well, Miller did go and tell her that Skullface is dead. If anyone should want revenge against him, it would be her. But it's not exactly like an angel of peace to cheer for someone's death. Now is it? There. Take a look at this, too. See it? Right there.
The wound is open.
Yeah. It was all closed up, and then it went back to this.
But why?
The medic has no idea how it happened. He figures it must have been self-inflicted.
This whole scenario right here doesn't make any sense.
A ruler's greatest wealth is not money or land. It is the number of individuals under his control. Subjects who work, consume, are there to be used as pawns in war. For a capitalist ruler, his people's power becomes his power. You are the same. With your diamond dogs, you spin it with your speeches. But what you're doing is bringing as much talent as you can into your little domain. Every person another feather in your cap. Yes. Since ancient times, every civilization's ruler has had the same idea. When people unite under one will, they become stronger than the sum of their parts. And the one will is the ruler's will. And what do rulers use to bring people together? Language. In the Old Testament, it is written that only one language was spoken in Eden. A shared tongue that united all of humanity. Mankind eventually grew aware of its power and harnessed that strength to build a tower to the heavens. The mighty Tower of Babel. This angered God, who splintered the language of man, and the tower was never completed. Languages emerged, and the earth was divided as men went their separate ways. Every age is the same. A ruler's first order of business, after conquering new land, is to force his tongue on its people. Ancient Rome, Napoleon, and now Zero. English is wreaking havoc around the world right now. The British Empire tilled the land with war as its hoe, then began planting the seed that is English. Eventually, American capitalism became the new instrument. To play its game of wealth, you only had to abide by one rule.
Roger.
English. By exploiting people's desires, English has become a leash that people gladly wear around their necks, it would seem.
This is Pequot, on station at LC. Gaining altitude.
Take a look at the side missions, see what new we have. There's one to the north that's OKB0. That's the prisoner extraction 19. There's a mine clearing at 07. And no new ones in Africa. So I'm going to be doing the side missions there before going on to the new main missions. Got quite a few. Some of them seem to be redos of earlier missions. Total stealth. Okay, so I'll be doing those side missions and then I'll start doing them in order from 33 to 37. But this looks like a completely new mission. Recover 2 containers loaded with Cold Talker's research materials. Containers are hidden in the jungle. XOF choppers are en route to collect them. I'm probably going to need to take a rocket launcher. I'm going to do that one eventually. Okay, so that is it for this stream. And the other thing I'll do is take a look at the base facilities. I think I can upgrade that. And then I'll end the stream then. If I can upgrade. 3 hours, it will be completely upgraded. Next, to focus on this forward operating base. Needs a lot of fuel. I just used up all the fuel, so I'm just going to do the support one. Yeah, forgot to do rewards. Yeah, there's another thing I forgot to do. I'll look at research development and then I'll end the stream. Sorry. Okay, so I have a stronger pistol now. That's good. I still would like that. Need more digitalis Lueta and Hyoma. And I still need to increase. It's got a lot of devices on it. Pretty good scope on the barrel conversion. Oh shoot, some other things. I did want to update this one, go to the next, and a Jehudi. Good ways from the third one though. But this is going to take most of the money I have left. Okay, the rest I'll save for cost in the field. I'm going to have some flexibility there. Money for that. I'm gonna hold off on it. Okay, that is it for this stream. I'm gonna be doing next time I stream the Phantom Pain, I'm gonna be doing the side missions and then going back to the, I guess it's repeats of earlier missions. Mission 33. This is a repeat of an earlier mission. Just much harder, it seems. No buddy deployment, no support helicopter attacks. Interesting ones. I wonder if I can still use the Fulton. Ultimate solo infiltration, all weapons and items. On-site procurement. Reflex mode. Ooh. Supply drops. Unavailable. It's gonna be harder. It's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be interesting. Thanks for watching.